Right, Mr. Sir. Midday kickoff.
Yeah.
Any complaints about the time and the performance then? And is the Champions League dream over, my friend?
No, it's not over. The time is unfortunate for the away fans, so I do feel for them because that's a very long trek to have to make at that time. For me, I just wanted to get the game over and done with. I thought maybe the time would actually help us from an atmosphere standpoint because obviously the Geordies can't get pissed up in the pubs beforehand. But 2 minutes in, Tonali bangs it in. So, and then whatever hangover that they're experiencing or if they're trying to recover from whatever is null and void. There's a lot with this game because a lot of people feel like obviously Reece James should have started. I know he started the reverse fixture in the back three in a left kind of centre-back position. I personally don't like seeing him go into midfield. I think he hasn't shown recently that he is comfortable in that position. We all know he's a right back. He can cross, but obviously maybe they're trying to protect him from a fitness standpoint. They look after him. They play him in the Conference League games. The Premier League games, not so much. I personally just see him as a back three centre-back, whether that's on the right or even on the left. He's shown he can do it. And that way you're not asking him to bomb forward. You can just ask him to just defend. And yes, it's not what we know of Reece James, but in 2025, we're looking after him, and that's the reality. He doesn't do that. He goes Caicedo. At the starting 11, I'm not taking many issues with it because the week before, it worked against Liverpool, right? Caicedo was great at right back, defended at the back post. Lavia, really good. Enzo, really good. 2 minutes in, whatever game plan we had was ripped up because you're not planning to be 1-0 down inside 2 minutes. Poor defending is poor. Now, we didn't play out from the back. And as much as in hindsight, it's easy to criticize and say, oh, why aren't we playing from the back? Every time we go long, and this is the first half because they were all over us in the first 10, 15, 20, 30. Going long, Jackson's losing every header. Fabian Schär, Botman, Byrne, Livramento, they're just going to destroy us on aerial duels. Every time we go long, ball's coming back. Every time we go long, ball's coming back. But this is why I respect Newcastle. And I said go into Newcastle. This is a very difficult game. And I'll take a point. A lot of people feel, oh, you're overhyping Newcastle, you're overrating them, they're not even playing that well, Isak's not even doing that much. It's Newcastle at home. Any team that goes to Newcastle at St James's Park knows if it's a big game and there's something riding on it, they're up for it. They're one of the most balanced teams in this country. Defensively, going forward, the wingers, the goal scorers they got, the physical midfield, low block they can defend, press they can press, set pieces they're so balanced. So it's all hindsight to say, okay, we should have done this or we should. Look, at the end of the day, and I don't want to scapegoat, but when we go down to 10 men, with Jackson doing an elbow on someone's neck.
Definite red, yeah?
It's a definite red. I don't really care if it's, it wasn't a red for Mings or... Listen, inconsistency is inconsistency in the referee and association. I'm not asked. It's a red card. When you go down to 10 men, you don't give yourself any chance. Simply. That's what it is. It boils down to... We 1-0 down. It can happen to anyone at St James's. We stayed in the game. We were 1-0 down. We stayed in the game. I thought second half we were really good. We did as much as we could do. The only thing I'll say to Maresco is maybe could you have brought on George the last 10 minutes to really go for it. But packed the midfield. He had 4v3 in there. 3 at the back. Wing backs, Cucurella, Neto. What more can you do? You got 10 men. You can't do too much more. And I feel like I feel very weird because I feel a bit of pride with the way that they didn't capitulate and the way that they did hang in there, and I could see that they were trying. Reece James had a header at the end. Manager, again, little changes here and there maybe he could have done, but it's in hindsight a little bit. It's a difficult place to go. But then it's Jackson. I'm so angry with Jackson because it's just like, not only have you cost us the opportunity to get back in the game.
At 35 minutes.
At 35 minutes, where we could have got back in the game. I'm not saying we would have got back in the game, but if you're having a stinker, we took you off for George, could have done so many things. Manager would have had more options. But now you're suspended for Man United. You're suspended for Forest. You're suspended for the rest of the Premier League season. And now we've got to turn to 19-year-old George or Neto, who's not a striker, or Palmer, people have been saying false nine, which takes away a bit of our chance creation. And it's not a good situation to be in going into must-win games. Now, that's Jackson for that game. But the overriding point, again, is why are we in a position where if one senior striker gets suspended, forget Gu, because he's a kid, one senior striker gets suspended, now we don't have a proper striker option going into the rest of the season. No top club should have one proper striker.
Going into a final.
Yeah, and going into a final. Well, Matisse, he'll obviously be back for that. No top club should have one senior striker for a campaign. Shouldn't exist. Man City had one this season, paid the price, went to go and get Mamouche. Didn't replace Alvarez. So it's negligence. It's It's ridiculous. But hey, this is what it is. Thankfully, Leicester dropped. They took points off Forest, because if they didn't do that, this would be a very different conversation.
Also, City dropped points.
City dropped points, but City will get it anyway for me. They got Bournemouth and Fulham.
It's Forest
or Villa.
Yeah.
And Villa have got fantastic on a Friday.
Oh yeah,
at Villa Park. They're going to beat you.
Number 21 in
and they got Man United away. And do you know what? I looked at that and I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm sure they'll drop points. Those two teams are so bad. They're the only two teams outside the relegated teams not to have 40 points. Villa, they could get 6 points. So we just have to now be in a mentality of we have to beat United, which we needed to do anyway, and we need to beat Forest.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Firstly, before I ask you, Nicholas Jackson, so dumb.
Sausage.
So dumb. Honestly, if it's not him being offside every single time, it's him doing something stupid. So crazy.
We've got a striker like that.
The offside. He's the most frustrating player ever. He's got to be so frustrating to play with. But kind of looking at those two games, because that Forest one yesterday, huge for you.
Crazy.
But you've got to go to the City ground on the last day of the season.
Yeah.
And if they're still in with a shout, that is going to be tough. Not sure about the minerals that they've got to get over the line. But do you feel like Chelsea are going to end up getting Champions League?
I think we're flipping a coin. If we get it, we're very lucky, because I think Nottingham Forest's form recently is ridiculously bad. They've lost at home to Everton. They've lost with Brentford. They've drawn with Palace. Is it?
Beat Spurs.
But then drew with Leicester. That is not even with Forest having a drop off. That is ridiculous. You wouldn't expect that. It's a flip of a coin, because Forest away and again Newcastle away is similar. Forest away, they're very defensively they're very airtight. We're not the most clinical team in the world.
They're the same home and away.
Yeah, it's a very difficult place to go and say that you have to win.
It's actually a massive win for Newcastle as well. By the way.
Yeah, of course they're going to get it now. They're going to get it. Newcastle will be in the top 5. Man City will be in the top 5. I think we can do it, but I don't like the way that we're having to do it, because it didn't have to be like this.
Yeah.
If we just beat Ipswich, if we just beat those teams in the bottom half over the winter period, if we just picked up points we should be picking up, we're not in this situation. And I take that frustration and I put it at the directors, because again, in January, when they decided to do nothing, it was very clear amongst most Chelsea fans, we need a striker. We could do with a midfielder. So you're not having to play Reece James in centre mid in Conference League games when you're looking after Lavia. And you just do those two things and you're not in this position. There's no way.
Question on that. Nicholas Jackson, if you get offers for him this season,
of course,
would you take him?
Chelsea already don't have enough strikers. So my first thought is we need to buy a striker first. And then if you're selling Jackson, then you need to buy another striker. So unless Chelsea are going to bring in 2 strikers, say it was a Delap and Gyökeres, or a Delap and an Osimhen, then okay, we can be open to Jackson going, because Jackson, as much as I like what he can do, what he can't do is becoming a massive issue. It was already an issue, but we was hoping, okay, he'll develop this season, he'll kick on from the 14 goals, maybe he'll put up like a Wissa 18 goal season. He hasn't done that. He's on 10. His finishing, his box movement, his
IQ
lack of
as well.
It's so weird, because his IQ is like, when you see someone link up play really well, good weight of pass at times, able to join things up, create chances, you think, okay, their IQ must be good. But then when you see the poor box movement and the offsides, you think, what's going on? So he's such a weird player. I'm not hounding him out. I don't mind him being a backup as long as we have a new starting striker. Before it was like, oh, do we need competition, or we need a new starting striker? Yes, we benched, because whilst he's developing or whatever, we can't have this next season. So as long as that happens, I'm fine.
One more thing, where do you sit with Enzo Maresca?
I'm fine with Enzo Maresca. He's never been my focus. My focus has always been the directors. They're the ones that have spent the money. They're the ones that have built the squad. They're the ones that have left us with no other striker. They're the ones that have left us with no top goalkeeper, even though Sanchez has been good recently. And they're the one that hired Maresca. So it was their decision to go with someone that is in his first Premier League campaign in a season where we have objectives that we have to hit financially and from a status standpoint. We just need to be in the Champions League. So I'm not really looking at Maresca. He's a rookie. I like some things he's done. I don't like other things he's done. I don't really listen to his press conferences at times because I don't like the way he always comes out. Maybe he's speaking on behalf of the people above him. But what do I expect from a manager coming from Leicester that has in their first Premier League season, they're going to be in this potential position. I think the directors are the one that have to be held account.
Well, as you know, Robbie isn't with us today. He's in Kenya.